Welcome back. In the last demonstration of our David Smith abstract cube sculpture, we talked about making the cube shapes for our sculpture. Okay? And we talked about having an A color and a B color. 2 pieces for our A color and 4 pieces for our B color. We also said that your A and B color should be analogous. So those are next to each other on the color wheel. Now what we're going to do is, after bringing the unity of everything working together with those 2 colors, we are going to change direction a little bit and look at emphasis, which is drawing attention to one thing or area. So here in my sculpture you can see the attention is kind of drawn to this yellow rectangular prism. Not only is it a different color, but it's also a different shape. So as we go through this next video, we're going to be creating this rectangular prism to create some emphasis. So to get started, you're going to need a piece of paper, and that piece of paper, which we'll refer to as our C color, is going to be complementary to either your A color or your B color. If you look at the color wheel right now, you'll notice that my A color and my C color are complementary. Red is across the color wheel from green. Okay, so choose a complementary color right now and have that in your mind. Now, as we get started, you're going to need not only one piece of paper, but you're going to need 2. You're going to need a second piece of paper because the first one here is 6 inches by 9 inches, and we want to have a 6-inch square. So you're going to take another 6 by 9 piece of paper and line it up right here with the edge, and then use your pencil to trace along that bottom edge so that you create a square here. Use your scissors and cut off that little extra remaining piece, and you can set it aside and either make another cube or another rectangular prism out of it later. But you can kind of see we're going to follow the same basic principle in this folding over the tab and folding over these edges here and cutting them as we did with the cube. It's just going to be a different starting shape. So to get started, take that right hand edge and fold over just a small tab. If you want to, you can use a bone folder if you've got one at your spot, so that you have that tab folded over. Now take this outside edge, folded edge, and valley fold it over to the left hand edge. Line those up very well and crease that down. Okay, now you're going to take again the right hand edge and fold it over to the left hand edge here, and crease that really well. Now, once you've got that, you're going to unfold it all the way. So it's like that. Now what you're going to do is you're going to take that second sheet of paper again, and you're going to kind of line it up, and this is where you're going to have to rely on your eyes a little bit. You want these sections in here to be a square. Okay, so if you take this piece of paper and you kind of line it up about there, you'll notice that this piece is about as long as that piece, and you're going to draw a line all the way down so that when you're done it looks like that, and you have a line there, and each of those look like a square. I'm going to do the same thing on the bottom side. Line it up so I have about as square as possible and trace along that edge like that. Okay, now we're going to need to cut just like we cut before. You can see on this model I've cut from the outside edge up to that line, outside edge up to the line, and then here I've cut the tab from the outside edge over to that fold. Okay, so for the purposes of this demonstration, I'm just going to use a Sharpie, and I'm going to draw on the lines that we're going to cut. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So you'll be cutting on those lines. When you're ready, take your scissors and cut just those lines. Okay, now that you have those lines cut, those separate pieces should be folded over right along that line so that you can easily fold it later when you get to the point of needing to fold it. You could fold it ahead of time too, along that line if you'd like. And you can make sure that those folds line up nicely, or the cut rather lines up with the folds on the inside, so it's nice and even. Now we've got all of those pieces folded and ready to be glued, and you're going to take that glue tab and just fold the tab over, the center tab. Use your glue bottle, it's a tap and glue, so make sure you tap it, pick off any chunks of glue that might be on there. Use your silent tool to put a couple of glue dribbles on. Not so much that it globbers over into the inside, but just a little on that tab. And then fold it over and glue that piece together. Okay, once you get that glued together, hold it for a few minutes, and then make sure that before you set it in your folder, or before you let it go too far, that you open it back up just to ensure that it didn't get glued flat. Okay, so there's my cube, or sorry, my rectangular prism, looking like that, and we're going to leave it flat so that we can decorate it with our lines in our next video. Alright, so that's how to create the rectangular prism for our David Smith sculpture. I'm going to leave this template here, the rectangular prism there, so you can see the difference between those three. And that's how you finish the rectangular prism.